So today I watched two films from Czech director Věra Chytilová. She is best known for her film Daisies, which is one of the probably most well-known A, Czechoslovakian films, B, films directed by women, C, avant-garde films of all time. However, if you were to see the discourse around Chitlova, you'd almost think Daisies was the only film she ever made. It is pretty much the only one of her films that is widely discussed. But we had several of her films on Filmstruck for the last few months, and I am finally catching up on them. I have two left. Hopefully, I get them in before the end of the week because that's when they expire. Today, I watched two of them, and they were equally amazing. One was made before Daisies, one was made after Daisies, but she has such a strong point of view that all of her films are utterly delightful. So the first one was, I'm not even going to read the Czech, I can't pronounce it, sorry. In English, Something Different. It's from 1963, and it tells the story of two very different women whose lives never intersect, but who are living similarly disappointing existences. The first is Eva, played by Eva Boskova. She is a dancer slash gymnast who is just so tired of that being her entire life. She's worked very hard. She's very good at what she does. She's probably world champion, but she's just so tired. She's done. She wants more from life. She had to give up everything for this one thing, and she's realizing that you shouldn't have to give everything up to be good at one thing. You should be able to be good at one thing and have other things in your life as well. She discovers a piece of music. It is I Can't Get Started, which is one of the great songs. I couldn't figure out which version it is because all my research couldn't find it. But the famous recording is by Bunny Bear again. You should look that one up. It's amazing. And she does a free dance to this music. I Can't Get Started, and it is amazing. She gives a lot of shade to her coach. He won't listen to her, and she's just so tired of it. Great half of the film. Her training and ennui is intercut with shots of, what is her name? Vera, played by Vera Yuzlikova, who is a wife and mother who stays at home, cooks for her husband, cleans, deals with their child, is very tired. Her husband sort of ignores her when he gets home. Her son is just a pain in the butt. She's tired of cooking all the time. She can never remember what she's trying to do. She starts one task and then something interrupts her and she just can't focus. And she pretty much hates her life until one day when she's grocery shopping and she has the most amazing loaf of bread. I wanted to eat that bread. She meets a man played by Jiri Kodet who hits on her and she starts up an affair. However, she does not find what she's looking for in this affair, especially when it turns sour and ends up being just as unsatisfying as her life with her husband. And spoilers, her husband's also having an affair because marriage sucks and no one's ever happy, and this poor child is stuck with these unhappy people who realize that they're unhappy in their marriage, but they're unhappy in their adulterous affairs also, and so they might as well just be unhappy together rather than unhappy separate and maybe try to raise this child. And so you get a little bit of joy when you see Eva sort of winning her medal by doing this new kind of free dance routine that she's put together. But otherwise, this is a very depressing film that basically says that the lives of women, and possibly men as well, are shit and everything's terrible, and you might as well try to take the pleasure that you can in the small places because everything's awful. So that's Something Different. It's sort of a grass is always greener, except it never is kind of movie. It's beautifully shot in gorgeous black and white, amazing music. Again, the use of Can't Get It Started was just mind-boggling. There's several other pieces of that kind of music, big bandy kind of music throughout, and it's just a gorgeous, amazing film. So then I watched Fruit of Paradise, which is from 1970, and this is actually the film that got her banned from making films in Czechoslovakia. They were basically like, this is too much. We don't like what you're doing. You need to get out. And so she spent the next 8 years or so making films throughout Europe. Similar to what happened to Tarkovsky when he got kicked out of the USSR as well for, being too subversive. So in it, we have 3 main characters plus some supporting characters. Eva, played by Jitka Nonkova, Joseph, played by Karl Novak, and Robert, played by John Smid. The very beginning of the film recreates, in a very psychedelic way, Adam and Eve and their first time having carnal lust together. And then it cuts to this very surrealistic portrait of this couple, Eva and Joseph, who are spending the weekend at a spa. And Eva makes friends with this curious man all dressed in red velvet, Robert, who may or may not be the devil, and who may be tempting Eva and Joseph to the fruit of paradise and the fruit of knowledge, and to fall from paradise, as you will. The film then goes down this crazy, nightmarish rabbit hole of sequences, some at the beach, some with all this amazing fruit. There's some naked reading, which is always something I enjoy. Various gardens, creepy haunted houses. There may or may not be a murderer. It might be Robert. He's also the devil. Lust for each other. At one point, Eva just runs away from both of them, and Joseph and Robert are like, maybe we could be together. And then Eva comes back, and they're like, oh, okay. And then Eva runs off with Robert, and then Robert is like, I'm the devil, I've got to die now, bye. And then she goes back to Joseph, and then they eat from the fruit of forbidden paradise, and then you know how that goes because it's the Bible. So it's a very strange film, and actually reminded me in part of a similar sort of era film, Valerie and Her Week of Wonders, except that Valerie and Her Week of Wonders I really didn't like because the way it was filmed felt very objectifying of the Valerie character in a kind of a gross way. And with Eva, she is always the subject. She is always in charge of her narrative. Even when she's not in charge of her narrative, it's filmed in a way that doesn't make you think you're spying on her. You sort of feel like you're her watching herself almost. It's really fascinating the way it's filmed. There's one sequence I really loved where she sees herself in the mirror and sort of tries to get closer and then pulls away. That sequence just blew my mind. It was amazing. Chytilova always, in her color films, has an explosion of colors, and in this you have a sort of a color story where she starts out sort of in this purplish color dress, and then when she meets the devil, she moves into this white cream dress, and then with the cream dress you get all the oranges and things, and then by the time Joseph and Robert are together, she's in this sort of purple, like light purple, pink kind of color again, and then the last sequence she's in just bright, devilish red, and then she's trying to peel the red off when she's trying to get back with her husband and say, like, hey, we need to do this together, and knowledge is okay, and don't ever seek the truth because the truth is too much, and we'll have the truth, but we won't have the truth because there's no such thing as truth. And it's just a very intense film. Lovely, strange, weird, amazing. I loved every minute of it. It has this really intense score by Zdeněk Liska, and parts of it are chants, I guess Czechoslovakian chants of Bible verses, and then it gets very operatic and terrifying, and I loved every weird ass minute of it. So these two films, Something Different and Fruit of Paradise, are both on Filmstruck right now. You can check them out. The theme expires at the end of the week, but I believe both these films may or may not be Criterion films as well, so they might still be on the Criterion channel after they expire. They're definitely all on DVD. You can find them, watch the rest of Chytilova's films. Watch Daisies if you haven't seen it, but go beyond Daisies if you have. She's an amazing filmmaker. I have a couple more of her films to check out. And I was going to watch one today, and a third one today, but Fruit of Paradise blew my mind so thoroughly that I just had to stop. My mind is just I'm like on a higher level right now from watching these films. So this is Vera Chytilova. Check out her films. She's amazing.